seconds. Two teams going in completely opposite directions to start the season. Pelicans have won one game. Warriors have only lost one. Steph Curry went scoreless in the first quarter on Wednesday and would not do the same on a Friday. 4 threes in the first quarter from Curry. He was cooking. So was Golden State, 8 threes in the first. As a team, they would lead 38-31 after one. And then on to the second, and that's when Draymond Green gets going. Otto Porter to Dre. Hey-oh, coming through, throws it down. Okay, he's like, I still got it. Golden State with a 4-point lead at halftime. On to the third, New Orleans off the miss. Green taking it down to Gary Payton II. He finishes with the layup plus the foul. Tough stunt like his daddy, and Andrew Wiggins getting wiggy with it. Green, 4 of his 5 assists in the third quarter. Golden State up 16, under a minute left in the third. Andre Iguodala to Payton. Let's go. Warriors roll 126-85.
A former number 1 overall draft pick who turned into a good two-way player in Wiggins. They have a defensive player of the year type guy, multiple-time all-star in Draymond. And they have some interesting pieces. What they had to do was win. They had 2 chances to win a single game to get to the first round of the playoffs. I'm sorry, with everything I just said, and you have 2 chances just to win once against a compromised Lakers team, against a Memphis team, lose in the first round, at least get to the first round. They couldn't even do that. And why not? Look, I'm sure I'll hear a lot about how, like, I'm hating on Steph. I'm throwing shade at Steph because I say he's not on LeBron's level. Duh, look, he's not. But I brought up that I was there, saw you there, at Oracle when he had 4 minutes and 22 seconds in the fourth quarter, 7th game, to manufacture a single point, running the greatest half-court offense ever, came up with 0. You know what he did in the last 3:30 of overtime the other day? With the whole season on the line, get to the first round. 0 points, but he did have 0 assists, but also had 0 rebounds to lose in overtime and go home. I'm sorry. I can't call that, ultimately, when you take everything, a successful season. You had 2 shots to make the playoffs. You had an MVP player with the ball in his hands, couldn't get it done. Ultimately, that's a failure.
Sometimes I argue with you about this stuff and you're just flat out wrong. And then there are other times that we debate about it because we just have 2 different perspectives. We come from a different place. We prioritize different things. This is the latter here. I totally get you and everybody that thinks like you in terms of this Warriors season, because you had a play-in tournament. You lost not once, but twice. You lost to the Lakers and then you lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. So the play-in wasn't a success for you. When we say season, I'm thinking about the season in its totality, the 72 games played prior to the play-in game. And I would say that's a raving success. I shouldn't say raving success. It's a success. You went 39-33. Steph Curry, without Klay Thompson, reminded you of his greatness, leading the league in scoring at 32 a game, shooting about 49% from the field, shooting 42% from three-point range, okay? You discovered guys like a Jordan Poole, for example, and what kind of role he can ultimately play. James Wiseman goes down, he gets hurt. That's a 7-footer that can give you some things from the inside. On both ends of the floor, we can't forget that Kelly Oubre wasn't available. He was supposed to be there, okay? So when you look at it from that perspective, now let's fantasize for a second and say to ourselves, because this is how you have to look at a season that was devoid of championship expectations. If they were a championship contender and that was our expectation, you'd have a point. But nobody looked at the Golden State Warriors that way this year. But now, let's say Wiseman is healthy, Kelly Oubre is there, Andrew Wiggins is still there. Steph is still there. Jordan Poole is still there. And Draymond Green is still there. And a healthy Klay Thompson is coming back.
Yeah, I mean.
What I'm saying is, if you look at next season, same squad.
Yeah.
Same squad. You're talking about, in all likelihood, a berth in the conference finals. And so to me, when I look at it from that perspective, I'm going to sit up there and I'm going to say, I agree with Steve Kerr. I agree with Steve Kerr in terms of developing some of the younger guys. Steph Curry shining and shining brightly. Somebody's got to do something about Draymond Green shooting. Everything else is there.
He won the scoring title, some of the best records in the spring.
I said Draymond Green, no.
No, but I'm saying about Steph Curry.
I'm just looking
for
at
MVP.
Draymond Green shooting 27% from three-point range ain't going to cut it. And where Max and I inherently disagree is this part. Max wants to act like size doesn't matter a lot of times. We made a big deal when a Spud Webb or a Nate Robinson won the slam dunk contest. Why? Because they were miniature and did what they did. Whereas when Dwight Howard, even though he won a slam dunk title, when he put on a Superman cape, it wasn't that big of a deal to us.
Like time to respond to
because
that.
he's 6'11". He's 6'11". Chris Paul, for example, being a quintessential cerebral point guard. Isaiah Thomas being an all-time great, a miniature dynamo that can score. Allen Iverson, great pound for pound.
No, I don't think size doesn't matter.
But that's different than the Russell Westbrook with 6'4" and others. So I'm looking at Steph Curry. You bring up what he couldn't do in 3 minutes. I'm thinking about the fact that he finished with 39 and he had no help.
I'm not saying size doesn't matter. If anything, you're pointing out that it does. That you can't be the best player in the game at Steph. You can't be on LeBron's level at Steph's height because pound for pound you can be, inch for inch, but overall you can't. So what that tells, but I'm saying overall influence on championships. So that's why I point out Kevin Love and Kyrie had to get hurt to win the first one. You lost the second one, then you added KD. Like, what I saw from Steph in the final game and what I see on this team is the number one success of the season is you developed Andrew Wiggins. Either you can keep him and trade the draft pick, Minnesota's draft pick, and Wiseman into something great maybe, or maybe you package Wiggins too. But what I saw from the Warriors is they're going to have to do something to bring in a player better than Steph, taller maybe, if they want to get back to being a dynasty.
Hold on, whoa. Are you saying that Klay Thompson coming back with this squad wouldn't be enough for them to win a championship?
No, they wouldn't win a championship.
You don't think they could win a championship with Klay Thompson back?
I think they'll come a little short, yeah.
Let me tell you something. The Golden State Warriors with a healthy Klay and a healthy Steph.
They're going to win it next year?
I might pick them to win it all.
Oh, good, do it.
I might pick them to win it all. I might pick the Nets.
Max says they can't win a championship when he returns.
But he's saying Kevin Durant. You saying James Harden. I'm saying to you, Kevin Durant might be that difference. Okay, you tell me that, I'll stand down.
What do you mean?
That would be the reason.
Yeah,
that you
money, good for him getting the bag. So, Sam, I got to ask you now, are the Warriors a threat to win the West? Because right now you're betting on the Lakers, it sounds like.
I am, and the Warriors aren't a threat to win the West. Now, I'm high on the Warriors. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan. I think they've done great in the offseason. Nemanja Bjelica, they've got this stretch big who can shoot the ball. So I like what the Warriors are doing, but I'm still high on the Lakers. Once again, and not even the Lakers. I'm high on the West. Like, the West is strong. So you've got Utah, you've got Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell. You've got Phoenix, who's still getting better. I believe that Chris Paul is going to play at a high level. I believe that you're going to see Mikal Bridges come in and help. I believe you're going to see DeAndre Ayton play better. I believe that Phoenix is still there. You've got Utah. Let's not forget about Memphis, who beat in the play-in Golden State. And so I believe that Golden State, they're getting there, but I don't think they can get over the hump right now. I am high on Golden State, but I still think there are 3, maybe even 4 teams that are better than them in the Western Conference.
Well, I appreciate your points. I think they're good ones, but I think you're a little too high on something if you think they don't have a shot to win the West. Sam, I get high on the NBA. Look, you look at this team right now with 3 future Hall of Famers. Now, I'm presuming Klay comes back as Klay, okay? Great two-way player, no one in the history of the NBA capable of getting hotter than Klay. Think about that. He had a season where he dropped 26 in one quarter, and that was his second best quarter of that year because he had a 37-point quarter, which is the all-time record, and he did it on no dribbles. Klay. If Klay comes back and is Klay Thompson, and there's Steph and there's Dre, there's their core, right? That's what makes the Warriors the Warriors. Now, what if they added to that? Because Andrew Wiggins, the former number 1 overall pick, was, I don't know if you call him a bust, but he was a disappointment, right? You can't say, at a certain point, you have to stop measuring him compared to the expectations of being picked number 1 overall. Was he a good player, both ends of the floor last year? Yeah, he was. And he could shoot it too. And he could play defense. And he's super athletic, and he's in his physical prime. That's 4 guys. That is an above average starter at a position where it's hard to find that, okay? Now, Wiseman, Pascal, Poole. They added 2 young athletic guys who aren't going to see a lot of minutes presumably now, but it's fresh legs off the bench with talent. You tell me that those guys don't have a chance in the West? Oh, they got a chance, Sam. They got a chance. You got to give them a chance.
But are you picking them, Max? Are you picking them over LA? You're making a lot of presumptions, which I respect, right? You're presuming that Brooklyn's healthy. You're presuming that Klay comes back as Klay. Those are a lot of presumptions, right? Let's assume as well that Jamal Murray comes back healthy with the Joker, the league's MVP.
A lot.
If we add those teams in, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, yes, they have a chance, but you're talking about them beating LA, beating Utah, beating Denver. You're talking, that's a lot to ask when there are a lot of presumptions that you're making.
You're right, but you named teams with a chance. Look, we both like the Lakers out of the West, right? Okay, there's a presumption.
Yep.
I'm presuming we both like the Lakers out of the West, assuming health, right? Okay. Does Denver have a shot? Check. Yes, they got a shot. Does Phoenix have a shot? Yes, they got a shot. Clippers don't have a shot because they ain't got Kawhi, so we can put them aside. Do the Warriors have a shot? I'm not talking about the Portland Trailblazers. I'm talking about Steph, Klay, Dre, Wiggins, and all these young guys they have. They don't have a shot, but Denver does, and the Phoenix Suns do?
The Phoenix Suns, Max, you're talking about the Phoenix Suns that just went to the NBA Finals. The Phoenix Suns that many of us thought would win the NBA Finals, Max.
Lucky.
Yes, they have a shot, but you're presuming a lot. You're presuming health. Klay hasn't been healthy in a couple years, right? We saw what Golden State is with an unhealthy Klay. Better yet, without Klay. They didn't even make the NBA playoffs. They lost in the play-in tournament to the Memphis Grizzlies. And yes, I'm high on Ja Morant, so I'm not trying to talk down on Memphis. But you're presuming so much. I don't live my life, and I don't know how you live your life, Max, right? We're doing this first show together. Me and you, I love it.
Sam. I live it pretty well.
I don't live my life. You live it based off presumptions. You be presuming a lot. Let me presume that, today is no rain. Like, you can't just presume things. Go on history. Go on stats.
Let's go on history. Real
facts.
quick, let's go on
Yes,
history. I know we
please,
have some breaking news. Let me just say, Phoenix went to the finals. They were favored to win. That only happened because first AD went down because they were down 2-1.
Yes.
You brought it up before. And then Kawhi
Yes.
didn't play at all. Or else no finals for Phoenix. If the Nets didn't get hurt, no finals for the Bucks. The Phoenix wouldn't have gotten out of the first round had the Lakers not been hurt, okay? So don't tell me the Warriors have no shot against Phoenix.
Max, let's not forget, Phoenix had the second best record in the West. So let's not act like Phoenix just stumbled upon. Let's not act like they stumbled upon this victory. They accidentally made it to the finals. Phoenix is good. Phoenix is solid. And we saw some of their superstars didn't play well. I think DeAndre Ayton will play better. I think that will happen, right? I think Devin Booker, it's not a presumption.
Just
I think
concede
Devin
the
Booker,
argument. You could just say, you know what, you're right. They have a shot. It's okay.
No one concedes any arguments on this show.